Hi, and welcome everyone. I'm Justine Norton-Kertson.
And I'm Castagnozzi.
We're the co-editors-in-chief of Solarpunk Magazine, and we couldn't be more thrilled to be here with you for the first annual Utopia Awards and Climate Fiction Conference.
We want to thank the sponsors of today's conference and ceremony, including Stelliform Press, Solarpunk Magazine, If This Goes On, Don't Panic podcast, and Android Press.
And also a big thank you to our producers for the event, Anna Evans Eklund, Ryan Casey, Dave McMillan, and Dave McMillan and Jazzmin Peluchette.
And last but not least, huge thanks to all of today's discussion panelists, moderators, and workshop facilitators, all the Kickstarter backers, and everyone else who registered and attended today. In spite of some tech difficulties, you all made today a huge success.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So, when the idea of throwing this event first started getting kicked around, it was met with both excitement as well as some, I think, justifiable skepticism. I mean, among the good reasons some folks had for being uncertain was the very real question about whether we really need another convention and another awards ceremony. And it's a really fair point, right? There's no shortage of them out there already. But ultimately, obviously, we made the decision to move forward and organize tonight's event. And I think being here in Central Oregon, where I live, and I'm sure people elsewhere all over the world can say the same or similar. We finally just started getting rain and came out of another really horrendous wildfire season. And we spent weeks with our windows closed, with no air conditioning, days at a time without electricity. Mostly because the air was just so thick with smoke, and the winds were blowing so hard, and it was so dry. Then you just really couldn't be outside for more than a few seconds without literally choking. So these really bad fire seasons, they used to come maybe once in a generation. I mean, I'm in my early 40s, and the first half of my life, I remember maybe a couple instances of just like really widespread fires. And it happens all of the time now, in a lot of places in the world, here in the Western United States, in particular. So again, this might be anecdotal, but as climate disasters continue to grow in frequency and size and scope, destructive power, there probably isn't a person here whose life hasn't been impacted by climate change and climate disasters in one way or another. Not just wildfires, right? But this summer we saw, devastating hurricanes, of course, in the Caribbean, catastrophic flooding in Pakistan, heat waves that threw much of Europe into drought, and that's just a few pin drops on the map. Author Kim Stanley Robinson, it was brought up in an earlier session too, has said on a number of occasions that it's really coming to the point where all fiction is going to be climate fiction, because climate change is such an all-pervasive problem and reality in our world today. It's becoming nearly impossible, if it isn't already impossible, to tell stories that aren't at least in some way influenced, peripherally at least, by climate change and climate disasters, climate anxiety, and the experiences that people have going through those things. So long answers, yes, another conference and another awards ceremony, because this conference and awards ceremony in particular, I think, are so desperately needed, given the socio-political climate that we're in. And we're well past the point where we need all hands on deck, right, to solve the climate crisis and avert the worst possible outcomes, if that's even possible anymore. And that means that we need authors writing stories, producers making movies and TV shows, and people going to conferences, and politicians making legislation, and people fighting in the streets and building radical movements to address all of these issues: climate change and capitalism, white supremacy, colonialism, and all of these things that are intertwined and interrelated that we face in the struggle to move forward and build a better future. So we have to write, and we have to paint, we have to sing and dream and imagine and build resilient communities together, so that we can achieve utopia together, right? So here we are. And we want to thank you again for joining us and helping us make tonight real.
Yeah, people dreaming of utopia is nothing new. And neither is people coming together and making real attempts to actively create a better world and bring visions of utopia to fruition. So before we get to the award presentations, we want to pay homage to the Paris Commune and other attempted utopias of the past.
The Paris Commune was an anarchist dream, violently torn apart at the seam. No king, no mayor or commander-in-chief. Banners unfurled that declared friends of peace. No more death penalty or children and mines. No more conscription by monarchs drinking wine. Catholic Church needs to share the king's fate. Put up a wall between the church and the state. Toppling down, the emperor's shadow
homeowners. If you have a power meter.
Ooh. All right. Cheers to the revolutionaries and utopians of the past. So with that, let's get to the reason why we all came here to begin with this evening, which is the award presentations. The Utopia Awards. These awards are meant to recognize and appreciate authors, artists, publishers, and others who are helping to bring utopian works to readers, listeners, watchers, game players, and more.
Works nominated for the awards had to meet at least most of a list of general criteria, including being published in 2021. They had to be hopeful and envision a better world in the future. They had to have some focus on solutions to global problems, and they had to be published by either a traditional publisher, a small press, or by semi-pro or professional climate fiction, science fiction, and fantasy magazines.
Most of our focus throughout today's panels and workshops has been on fiction. And imagining better futures. But the climate crisis is real, right? And some of our panels have touched on that as well, on the nonfiction side of the climate crisis. Right, and it's happening right now and has very real effects on our lives. And that's why we thought it was important to kick off our award presentations with the award for utopian nonfiction. So without further delay, the nominees for the Utopia Award for Nonfiction are Joshua Wilson for our Winter's Tales, published by The Fabulist. And Priya Chand for On the Destruction and Restoration of Habitats, published by Reckoning Press. Scott Knoll for You've Got the Future All Wrong, We All Do, published by Dreamforge Magazine. And Eric Hunting for On Solarpunk, published by Sci-Fi. All right, and the winner is, I don't have a drum roll sound effect, I should have set that up. But the winner is Priya Chand for On the Destruction and Restoration of Habitat. Yay! We're gonna cut now to Priya's acceptance speech. Some of these will happen live. Some of the award winners asked if they could pre-record first for various reasons. So we are going to cut over to Priya's. All right. Share my screen and we will do, this is a little clumsy, but it's fun. We're grassroots. All right, here we go.
Hi, wow, thank you so much. Sorry, I'm losing my voice a little, but it's really exciting to be part of, something new that I think is really important. The Utopia Awards representing not just, the reality of climate change, but also the reality that we need to be kind of solutions oriented. I really think that's fantastic. Obviously, a huge thanks to the Reckoning editors, Cecile and Lee for Reckoning 5, and then Michael, who runs the whole show. I really want to just emphasize that what I've learned from volunteering with the Forest Preserve is that all action is local and that local action matters. So I do hope I can inspire some of you who aren't already in it to go out there and see what you find. But anyway, thank you again.
All right, congrats, Priya. Excellent work. Next up is the award for utopian art. Art has the power to help bring fiction to life, and it plays a key role in envisioning better futures. Art played a particularly important role in the birth and development of the solarpunk subgenre. So we're pleased to honor artists envisioning utopian futures. The nominees for the Utopian Award for Art are Tracy Whiteside for The Leaves, published by Reckoning Press. Dante Louise for Cephalopod Heart, published by Hexagon Science Fiction Magazine. Roger Legee for Erewhon and Other Strange Utopias, published by The Fabulist. Jane Noel for Longing of Hope, published by Dreamforge Magazine. And Dustin Jacobus for Solarpunk, published by Sci-Fi Journal. And the winner is, that is Roger Legee for Erewhon and Other Strange Utopias.
Oh, there I go. I was muted. So unfortunately, unless I'm wrong, let me check here real fast. Yeah. So Roger was not able to make it tonight. Roger is right in the middle of Hurricane Ian. So I'm not sure how they're pronouncing it, Ian. But so wasn't able to be here tonight, wasn't able to even get a pre-recorded speech sent to us, just because things are so chaotic there, and they have been without power and such. So we just want to congratulate Roger on the award, say that we wish him and his family safety and wellness in the climate crisis that they're in.
Yeah, and our hearts and thoughts are with all those whose lives have been impacted by this summer's just onslaught of climate disasters, from Hurricane Ian and catastrophic flooding in Pakistan, Puerto Rico, the Philippines, to the wildfires in the Western US, and just too many others for us to mention in our short time here.
Yeah, so let's, before we move on, just take a brief moment, really just a few seconds, at least, of silence in solidarity with everyone around the world who is facing the reality of climate change and climate disaster right now. Okay. Great. Congratulations again, Roger. So next we have the award for utopian poetry. Excited about this one. I'm a big poetry fan. So without further ado, the nominees for the Utopian Award for Poetry are Mary Soon Lee for Mythic Book Emporium, published by Dreamforge Magazine. Bruce McAllister for If, published by Analog of Science Fiction and Fact. Lisa Timph for We Must Believe the Road Ahead is Full of Light, published by Utopia Science Fiction Magazine. Ashley Bow for When the Coral Copies Our Fashion Advice, published by Reckoning Press, and Dawn Vogel for Terraformer of Bigotry, published also by Utopia Science Fiction Magazine. And the winner of this one is Mary Soon Lee for Mythic Book Emporium, published by Dreamforge Press. Yay, congratulations, Mary. All right, so let's cut then over to Mary's speech.
Hello, I'm Mary Soon Lee.
Oops. Sorry about that, everyone. One more time.
Hello, I'm Mary Soon Lee. I am honoured and delighted that my poem Mythic Book Emporium won the Utopia Award. Many thanks to everyone who voted, and to Jane and Scott Knoll at Dreamforge for publishing it. Books, bookstores and reading have, and I think always will be, very important to me. Thank you.
Yeah, congrats to Mary. Okay, Now we have the Utopia Award for Anthology or Collection. This category is for short stories and often poetry too, that have been written by one or more authors and gathered into a single book by one or more editors. This year, all the nominees were for anthologies or collections with multiple authors. Those nominees are Christoph Rupprich, Deborah Cleland, Nori Tamura, Rajat Chowdhury, and Serena Ulabari for Multi-Species Cities, Solarpunk Urban Futures, published by World Weaver Press. Then we have Alex Hernandez, Matthew David Goodwin, and Sarah Rafael Garcia for Speculative Fiction for Dreamers, a Latinx Anthology, published by Mad Creek Books. Lastly, there is Cecile Cristofari and Leah Bobbitt for Reckoning 5, published by Reckoning Press. And the winner is Cecile Cristofari and Leah Bobbitt for Reckoning 5.
Leah, you are on if you can hear us.
Yes, is Cecile unmuted?
No, I'm looking for Cecile. I don't see her on the
Okay.
list.
I know
Unless
she has
she's here, unless she's signed in under a different name. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know she had said that she wasn't sure if she was gonna be able to make it.
All right. Yeah, there's a significant time difference there. So I suppose I will have to do the thing for both of us. First off, thank you. It means so much to see that, especially in such precarious, urgent times, the idea at this issue of Reckoning's Heart connects with people. Our love for the imperfect now and what we can make of it together. Reckoning is also community work, so we want to thank and recognize everyone involved. Our rotating and very international editorial staff, contributors, readers, artists, and back-end support. None of this work happens outside of an ecology. We all firmly believe the work says it best, so we'd like to offer up the first stanza of our opening poem, Julia de Silva's Salvage Song. So here we are at the end. We have pulled down the sails to make patches for the ocean. Come, we will patch those patches with paisley scraps, with blue and white checks like Dorothy's dress. We will save scraps of paper to cover half-written books. Come, we will grab one last plank from the ship to patch somewhere out past the epilogue. Come, there is so much farther to go. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, and congratulations again. That was a lovely note to end on right there. Not to end the whole evening, but just that little bit. But we are moving right along here. This is definitely not going to take until 7. So let's keep it rolling then. Excuse me. So next we are excited to present the first ever Utopia Award for short story. Right, I mean, short stories are in a lot of ways sort of the heart of what we're doing, right? Most of us write short stories. We might also write poetry too, might write more long form stuff as well. But short stories, there's just something about them. So we're really excited to be able to highlight authors who are writing utopian stories. So let's get to it. The nominees for the Utopia Award for Short Story are Anna Sun for Dandelion Brew, published by Dreamforge Magazine. Dami Lola Hoyadortun for All We Have Left Is Ourselves, published by Reckoning Press. Jade Wilburn for Blood Ties, published by Faya Literary Magazine of Black Speculative Fiction. And we also have Lynn Pisok Yang for Super Bloom, published by Metaphorosis Magazine. And finally, Jennifer Lee Rossman for Epicenter, published by Hexagon Science Fiction Magazine. And the winner is Damilola Hoidotun for All We Have Left Is Ourselves, published by Reckoning Press. So give me 1 second here. We'll pull Dami in. Dami, congratulations.
Hi, Justine. Okay. First of all, I want to say thank you. Okay, this is the second award my story is winning, so it actually means a lot to me. Big shout out to Michael and Leah and Cecile, and big shout out to everyone who has voted to actually make this story win. I'm so excited, and yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. And congratulations again. Great work. So moving along, the Utopian Curator Award is similar to the Anthology Award, but on the publisher level rather than the level of the individual or publication. It's an award for publishers, presses, and magazines who are helping further the spread of utopian art and literature. And the nominees are Reckoning Press, Dreamforge Magazine, Imagine 2200, Climate Fiction for Future Ancestors, an annual climate fiction contest by Fix, which is Grist Solutions Lab, World Weaver Press, and Hexagon Science Fiction Magazine. The winner is Imagine 2200, Climate Fiction for Future Ancestors.
Sorry, folks, 1 second.
Hi, my name is Tori Stevens. I'm the creative manager for Imagine 2200, and I'm truly honored to accept this award. This is something else. I didn't expect this. I see you all, the Solarpunk community, as the true OGs of climate fiction and look to you all for inspiration. So thank you so much for honoring what we're attempting to do in the space. Imagine 2200 is only 2 years old, and we've been through the submission process twice. In this short period of time, we've received 1,700 submissions from 91 countries. This shows me that there's a desire for writers to create climate fiction in solarpunk worlds. And on the flip side, the 12 stories that make up the first collection have been viewed 75,000 times, and that keeps growing. This really shows me there's a hunger for stories that show a clean, green, and just world and what that would look like or could be for all of us. On October 4th, we have the second collection dropping, which is like this coming Tuesday. Definitely check that out. And in that piece, in that collection, I wrote a piece that's not a story, it's more of like the essay that goes with it. And I talk about, and it's titled, We Are What We Nurture. And I argue that society is addicted to dystopian stories and depictions of the future. I'm definitely guilty of consuming those stories, those grim, dark stories, but I think we need to move away, not totally move away from it, but Black Mirror, The Walking Dead, Squid Game, they all right now reign supreme. But if we are what we nurture, and you agree that we are what we nurture, we are what we create and consume, then I think it's time for a shift. And I think the folks in the solarpunk community have been doing that quite well for a while. The thing that we need, though, is for those stories to bubble up into the popular culture. And I believe solarpunk can play a big role and be like a green mirror of sorts for society. And it all comes back to what Brianna said earlier today, which is that the solarpunk community has this strong call to action embedded in the movement. And I think that's the big driving force as to why we call this a movement and not just a genre. It's both and more. With Imagine, we're playing a very small role, and that role is to provide a platform for clean, green, and just worlds that have characters whose identities and culture are just as central to the stories as the climate crisis they're trying to solve. I really appreciate this honor, and I want to close by thanking the folks who helped bring this endeavor to fruition. My partner in crime, Galia Binder, they helped deepen this initiative in ways that I can't even explain, but made it way more meaningful. Judges Adrienne Marie Brown, Cherie Renee Thomas, Morgan Jerkins, and Kiase Lemon. Thank you. The reviewers, Serena Ulabari, Tobias Buckley, Andrew Dana Hudson, the artists Grace Abe, Carolina Rodriguez, Amelia Batesy, or as we call her Batesy, Rebecca Dunlap, and last but not least, the whole team at Fix. We all thank you for this award. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's quite a lineup they have there at the Imagine 2200 competition. No wonder it's so amazing. Congratulations to Tori, to Fix, all the folks at the Imagine 2200 competition. Like Tori said, they're only 2 years old, but already well deserved. So we've got a couple more awards to go. And this one is for those stories that are not quite short, but not quite long either, not quite long enough to hit the novella or the novel mark. So this is for the novelettes out there, the sort of stories that are in between. I'm a big fan of novelettes personally, because you can just sort of get right through them and get a good juicy story in one sitting. Novellas are similar like that, but novelettes just to a little bit more of an extent. So I'm excited to do this one. The nominees for the Utopia Award for Novelette are Remy Skitterstad for A Song Born, published by Reckoning Press. Excuse me. Simon Kewen for #Buttons in Weird Places, published by Abyss and Apex magazine, sorry. And Peng Shepherd for The Future Library, published by Tor Books. And the winner is, drum roll, Remy Skitterstad. Yay! Remy also was not able to make it this evening, unfortunately, and wasn't able to send us a recording. So congratulations to Remy. If you see him online, congratulate him and tell him that you love his work. And that you read a story. Okay, and so then with that, we will move on to our final award. Bree?
Yeah, congrats, Remy. And now our final award for the evening. Novellas have really made a comeback in popularity over the past few years. Novellas with utopian themes are no exception to that. And so the nominees for the first annual Utopia Award for novella are Cynthia Zhang for After the Dragons, published by Stelliform Press. Arula Ratnakar for Submergence, published by Clarkesworld. Becky Chambers for A Psalm for the Wild-Built, published by Tor Books. Octavia Cade for The Impossible Resurrection of Grief, published by Stelliform Press. E. Catherine Tobler for The Necessity of Stars, published by Neon Hemlock Press. And the winner is Becky Chambers for A Psalm for the Wild-Built.
Yay! Congratulations, Becky. Let's cut to Becky for the acceptance speech.
Hello to everyone at CliFiCon, and thank you so much for honoring my book with this award. I'm in some truly excellent company among the other finalists, so thank you for celebrating all of our works this year. The first step to building a better world is imagining the sort of future we want to work toward. There are countless different answers for that, and none of them are one size fits all, nor should they be. That is why I am so excited to know that you are all out there today, sharing ideas and knowledge from your various corners of the planet. It gives me an enormous amount of comfort to know these conversations are happening, even and especially in times like these. We are none of us alone in our fears, but neither are we alone in our hopes. You all prove that, and I thank you for including a monk and a robot in this community we are building together.
All right. Congratulations again to Becky for that award, and also to congratulations to everybody who was nominated, right? I mean, just really being nominated among the hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, like literally more stories and pieces of art and books that are out there is a huge accomplishment. And so to those, all of those who were nominated, huge congratulations for that accomplishment. All of your works are amazing and wonderful. And to the folks who are in the audience here tonight, if you have not read any of them, you can go to the Android Press website and click on the CliFiCon button and go to the nominees page, and all of the works are listed out and have links. Most of them are available to read for free. Some of them, particularly the longer form stuff, novellas and some of the anthologies, you have to purchase. But links are there so that you can find all of the work, including the art and such that was nominated for the award today. So with that, and a little bit early and ahead of schedule, which is great, we're not running behind. That's a new thing. We'll wrap up, and we really hope that we will have the opportunity to do this again next year. I can't say it enough times. I've already said it for like the last 30 seconds or minute. Big congratulations to all of the award winners and all of the nominees for the hard work and well-deserved recognition.
Yeah, thanks everyone so much for just showing up today. Really early in the production, it was asked, how do we get the world to pay attention to this? And I think this is a really good step, one of the many steps along the ways, right? To have a conference and a Utopia Awards ceremony. So yeah, thank you so much. And thanks as well to our sponsors, right? Stelliform Press, Solarpunk Magazine, If This Goes On, Don't Panic, and Android Press. Thanks, everyone.
Yep, thanks everyone. We again hope to see you again next year for the same thing. If not, we'll see you on the social media spheres and all of that. The lobby for the conference will be open at least until 7. I think it might even be open until 8 p.m. Eastern time. Wait, 8, yeah, 8 or 9 for the next 15 minutes to an hour. I'm not sure exactly, but it'll be open for a little bit after we close the ceremony room here. So if people want to stick around for a bit in the lobby and chat with each other, please feel free to do that. And yeah, thanks everyone, and thanks for bearing with the technical difficulties, and thanks for making this such an amazing day and conference and award ceremony. Thanks. Have a good one, everyone.